Not too long ago, I made a video on if the Outlast Trials is going to die. I would 100% recommend checking out that video, but the conclusion that I came to is no. Red Barrels continues to support itself with its development of the Outlast Trials with the amount of money that it makes. Despite the minimal microtransactions in this game, Red Barrels continues to support themselves from your initial purchase of the game. But you can't keep a game going off just the new people coming into a game. So how has Outlast Trials mastered keeping people coming back? Remember though, less than 3% of you guys are actually subscribed, but thank you so much while I've been on my journey to becoming the biggest Outlast Trials content creator. Because as I'm sure we've seen time and time again, games can be great at bringing new people in and exploding in popularity. Among Us, Fall Guys, Hyperscape, you've all heard the names, but they were all things that I played during their peak of popularity. So it's one thing to have a game explode, but it's a completely other thing for something like Fortnite or Apex Legends to have people consistently playing the game. So the Outlast Trials needs to fit itself in this category while being on an entirely new spectrum, as it is a paid game, since Apex Legends and Fortnite are both free-to-play games that operate mainly off their microtransactions. So now that I've established this and we know that Outlast Trials is a pay-to-play game, how do they get the people coming back? In the state of gaming, live service games are the most profitable as they keep people coming back and operate on a long-term schedule. In the case of a lot of live service games, this actually ends up in them dying. Once developers and investors see a surge in popularity, all resources are immediately put into the game. Because of course these people would. The immediate thought is to put absolutely everything into this update. Everything that we have to make it the biggest update we'll ever have, and we need to keep these new players. But guess what? Outlast Trials completely ignores this. Let me explain. So what does Red Barrels do to keep the Outlast Trials going? See, for every other game that's taken the route of investing all of their resources into the next updates, they have immediately faced the consequences of this action, which is burnout. The results usually are a lot less than they expected. Instead of doubling their player base or bringing a bunch of new people in, this usually only ends up in being the loyal players who are still going. So what ends up being the solution to this? The answer is Outlast Trials doesn't care. As soon as the results come in from this burnout, investors are immediately not happy. Why would they want to invest even more into a game that's failed after they've tried their absolute hardest? Now, both the people making the game and supporting the game are incredibly burnt out with all their resources gone. Why would these people want to keep developing the game since they put their absolute all into the next update? But now think back to the time where you started playing the game. You were probably introduced by a friend or a group of friends who want to all play together. The developers of the Outlast Trials actually recognize this incredibly well. If you haven't recognized it, party games aren't meant to be played all the time. You aren't really meant to main a party game. They're things that you come back to once in a while, you play with friends, and you have a great time while doing it. You don't need to keep up to date all the time. So why on earth would Red Barrels put their absolute all into every single update? The Outlast Trials has put itself in a perfect Goldilocks zone of updates. This is done with enough regular content for repeat players like myself, so there aren't updates with too little content to keep people interested, and not being on the other end of the spectrum where there are too many resources being placed into each update. Red Barrels recognizes that the Outlast Trials is a party game and knows that people aren't going to be playing it 100% of the time. Again, I adore this game. I absolutely love it. I can play it absolutely every single day and there's still going to be stuff for me to do. That's why I make content on the Outlast Trials though. It's my absolute favorite game and I'm not going to have it any other way. But for new players, there's going to be an incredible amount of new content and each day that's just going to grow. And then the main target audience for the Outlast Trials is going to be the returning players. Again, those same people who aren't going to be playing all the time but will always return to new content. This is how the Outlast Trials has mastered keeping their player base. They're very content at not needing people to play every day, which I think Fortnite does well, but a lot of games can't compare to the success of Fortnite. So by that same same recognition that they don't need people to play every day. They're very happy doing what they want and creating a game that will last for an incredibly long time. I've talked about it before, but Red Barrels is a very small company, and people who are obviously very passionate about horror and just their game. And with this passion, they're not going to stop anytime soon. They're going to keep riding the waves of popularity. Each time a new enemy is added or a clip goes viral, their game gets so much popularity. I think this is great, and it isn't the worst model for a live service game to take. Really, I'm so grateful for how the Outlast Trials has been treated. I just want the absolute best for this game, and not just because I'm making content on it, but I think it's really something special. Speaking casually for a moment, I think a game that was treated incredibly badly was Multiverses. The game might have been doomed for the start, but it definitely didn't help with the way it was treated. I think the first couple of updates were LeBron and then Rick and Morty, but they were spaced out incredibly weirdly. I think it was Morty and then Rick, or one of the two. I don't know why they just didn't bring them at the same time. The updates were incredible, like they were really weirdly spaced. Then the next updates were like the Gremlins and Black Adam. It was really weird and it just made no sense. But I'm glad we have an example of a game that's been treated really well, and that being Outlast Trials. I'm going to keep making content on this game because I just love it. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Please consider being one of the less than 3% of people who are actually subscribed. I think I'm just over like 1.5 thousand subscribers now, so thank you again, it's been great. Also, a side note, this guy immediately left after I killed him, so I'll just leave you with the rest of this footage. But again, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. See yas.